All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Hope you guys are continuing to do well today. We have made it to the weekend. And we've got a few more players that I want to look at for this upcoming draft. Just some players that kind of slipped through, just some players that escaped my initial focus, but I think are worth spending at least a little bit of time on for one reason or another. Who knows why I missed them? Could be a couple different reasons, but I want to explore a few more options, mostly late round options, mostly guys that are very much at the back of the draft if they're lucky. But nevertheless, let's start with a Toia. Toia of the UCLA Bruins. This is a nose tackle, and he is a true nose tackle. This is the definition of a nose tackle. 22 years old when the season starts. He's 6'2", so he's nice and squat, 342 pounds. So if you want a nose tackle, this is your nose tackle. You will not find very many bigger players, and the fact that he's so squat, it's like we're talking about a Warhammer dwarf or something. He is a very interestingly built player. They don't make them like this that often. Arms are a little bit short, 32 and a half inches, 25th percentile, not great. 10-inch hands are about average. The only big board I used that had him in the drafted range was ESPN. They had him as a 7th round pick. The aggregate had him about 15 to 20 picks outside the range of drafted players, so pretty close. And he certainly could get drafted, especially when he's carrying 342 pounds. Last 2 years, he's been fairly productive, not necessarily as a pass rusher. In 2023, he actually played a good amount, but only had 3 pressures. But last year, he played a similar amount, honestly, and had 19 pressures. So he did actually show a little bit more in that area, but you're still not looking at anything special. But he has been providing some pretty decent heft in the middle there for college defenses over the last couple years. So Toia, interesting prospect. He's a true nose tackle. He's got massive size and he's very wide. So this is not somebody who you're kind of biting your tongue as you're moving him to nose tackle. No, he is a nose tackle, plays with a violent and aggressive edge. Really like the way he approaches playing defense, really like the way he approaches everything that he does in terms of taking on blockers and attacking the ball carrier. He is wide enough and big enough and strong enough to hold his ground against double teams as well. He's not going to get pushed out of the play by double blocks. Now, the arm length is a problem, and it does seem to hurt him. He has a harder time getting into the chest of linemen before they get into his chest because his arms aren't long enough. So when he engages, he loses those battles more often than he would probably be able to just on a pure strength battle because of his arms. Very little ability to keep up with wide runs. This is a guy who's very much just a trash can full of dirt in the middle, and he offers very little as a pass rusher. I wouldn't expect much more than a bull rush, and even that's kind of like, it's not going to get there in time. So there are some problems here, but he is kind of fun. He is a fun classic nose tackle. You don't find a lot of players like this. And I could see him carving out a role in the NFL. I'll go 6th round pick on him. I think he's worthy of a 6th round pick. I will sign up for a guy who's 340 pounds and only 6'2". I will sign up with a guy that wide bodied. Okay, next guy we're going to look at here is he's kind of a bigger edge rusher or a smaller 3-tech, depending on your perspective. Maybe he's a 3-4-4-I. Ahmed Hassanein of Boise State. And by the way, guys, I know I'm butchering these names, and sometimes people get on me for that. Like, I get the sense that some people are actually offended that I mess up these names. I've looked at like 300 players over the last couple of months, guys. Like, I'm not going to remember how to pronounce everybody's names. Like, I wrote this evaluation, several days, in some cases weeks ago before I actually record the video. Like, I'm not going to remember how to pronounce everybody's name. Sorry. Anyway, 23 years old, Boise State. He's short and squat. He's got a decent amount of heft to him, 267 pounds. That's big for an edge, certainly. Arms pretty short, 32 and a quarter. We're not excited about that. Small hands as well. So in some areas, he's not very big. The testing numbers, they're pretty bad. 1/7 10-yard split is pretty bad for an edge rusher, unless he's going to be like a power edge or a 5-tech maybe, which is why I'm not convinced that this guy's going to be used in a traditional way. PFF really likes this guy. They have him in the late 4th or early 5th. The aggregate puts him right at the back end of the 7th. He's been productive, man. He's been really productive for that Boise State defense. Over 100 tackles, 33 tackles for loss, 22 sacks over the last 2 seasons total, 115 quarterback pressures. Like, he's living in the backfield, man. So he's found a way to put up big numbers with the Broncos. So there's something going on here. I just don't know where it translates to. Yeah, lives in the backfield, big-time production. He's got very powerful hands when he comes in with his punches, when he comes in and slams into blockers. He generates a lot of pop. He understands how to use his short height to his advantage. He wins leverage a lot. He's giving high effort at all times. He's somebody who is always just going for going at 100 miles an hour. And not only does he have powerful hands, he has skilled hands. I think the way in which he places his hands going into engagement is really good. I like the way in which he approaches going into contact. So Hassanein, definitely intriguing on some level, but I wouldn't exactly call him a skilled rusher, right? And at least not in the sense of having a lot of pass rush moves. I think that he wins mostly on just effort and second effort and third effort and to a certain extent hand usage. There is some skill there, but I would not call this guy a very skilled rusher in terms of having a lot of go-to moves. He's not getting the edge with speed. I mean, we can see that right here. Like, he's not going to get the edge with his speed. He's not a good tackler. He misses a lot of tackles, and part of the reason why is because his arms are so short. He's probably a 4-3 player only in the NFL. I think you're going to have to put him at 5-tech. So if you're running a 3-4, I don't know what you do with this guy. Do you tell him to bulk up and play 4-eye? I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to play standing up. Play recognition skills are also lagging a little bit. I don't think he's very good at diagnosing plays. I don't think he's very good at dissecting what's going on an opposing offense. So he's got decent power. He's got high effort, but there isn't really a ton else here, I feel like. I don't know if we're going to see much more out of Ahmed Hassanein beyond what we already have. So 6th round, I think, is okay if you're running a 4-3 and you're looking at him as like maybe a power edge or a 5-tech, whatever you want to call it. I could see him as a 6th rounder, but even that, I'm kind of like, maybe this is a 7th rounder. This is kind of dicey here. Final guy for this video is going to be a lineman, Elijah Roberts of the SMU Mustangs. 23 when the season starts. If you're evaluating him according to defensive linemen, he is about average in terms of size. He's got decently long arms, big hands. His testing numbers were really good by the standards of a defensive lineman. Now, some people look at this guy as an edge. And if you're looking at him as an edge, these testing numbers are not very good. So it just depends on your perspective of this player. Like, he didn't even broad jump 10 feet, which is fine if you're on the line, if you're playing with your hand in the dirt on the interior. Not necessarily fine if you're playing edge rusher. And this is a guy that was kind of a big miss on my part because a lot of the major big boards really like him. PFF has him in the 3rd. The database has him in the early 5th round. So there is some gas here for sure. And he's got good production. Not quite as good as Hassanein, but Roberts, 72 tackles, 24 for loss, 17 and a half sacks, 131 pressures over the last 2 years. He's living in the backfield. Look at these PFF grades, man. So I don't know how I missed Roberts. I think I initially had him listed as a lineman, and then I looked at him and decided I'd do him with the edge rushers. And then when I got to the edge rushers, I forgot about him. So again, this is a matter of perspective. The production over the last 2 years is pretty crazy. He's got big time speed to power. His speed to power game is deadly. He's got nuanced rush plans. When he's going into engagement with a lineman, he's got nuanced plans to beat his blocker. He holds his gap against the run really well. Stout, strong, not going to give up his run lane. I do wonder if he's a little bit of a tweener. If I had to guess, he's going to be a 5-tech. But there's a possibility he's just not athletic enough to be an edge, and he's not big and strong enough to be a lineman. So, down lineman, I mean. So there is some possibility here he can't find his home. His play recognition is substandard. He misses too many tackles due to playing kind of passively, I think. He's not going to win with speed, just like the last guy we looked at. Speed is not really on his menu. And he's only athletic if you compare him to guys that play on the interior. If he's an edge, which some people look at this guy as an edge, he's not really a good athlete. So, definitely deserving of praise. I just don't know what he's going to do in the NFL, and I could easily see him ending up nowhere. I'm going to say 6th round pick again, and I know that seems to be kind of where I throw all these guys where I just don't know, but no, really, I look at these guys and I go, I don't know how this pans out, so 6th round pick is fine. That's the area of the draft where you're really getting into projects, and if you miss, it's not the end of the world. So I'd go 6th round pick for Elijah Roberts. I'd toss him in there. And that is going to be it for this video. So see you guys in a few more hours. We have a few more guys we're going to look at. And that is going to do it for this year's draft evaluations. We're going to do one more video. And unless something really intriguing happens in the next few days, that's going to be it. Okay. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Go Hawks. See you guys soon.